Hi, my name is Gabe Arnold. I'm the founder and CEO of Business Marketing Engine. And today I'm going to share with you 3 ways to level up your mindset so you can earn more and make a bigger impact. These are things that I personally do that have been really beneficial. So I'm going to share them with you so you can explore them as options. So stay tuned and we'll break those down. Being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. It's definitely something that will take a lot. And it's, in my experience, it's one of the most mentally, emotionally, and physically challenging, things you can take on because there's going to be incredible pressure. There's going to be times where, the money doesn't work. There's going to be times where you have to fire somebody. There's going to be times where a client that you thought everything was going great, everything turns sideways and they're really upset with you. You could launch something that you were certain was going to work and it could be a miserable failure. There is so much that we take on as entrepreneurs, and it is an incredibly challenging role. But as my friend Alex Charfin likes to say, as entrepreneurs, every day we go out into the future, we imagine what's possible, and then we force it to come back into the present and we make it a reality. And that's an incredible mission. It's an incredible challenge to take on. And so, while entrepreneurship is something that I think is really popularized right now, which I'm glad for overall, I think it's easy to see and look at all the fun things, all the great things, and honestly, a lot of the false things that people put out there of like, oh, I worked, in 1 year and built a multi-million-dollar business, which may or may not be true. Or all you have to do is follow these 3 steps, and you can make 10,000 a month in the next 60 days. Like there's a lot of promises put out there that people can't back up. And even if they can back them up, they're not always reality. Entrepreneurship is a long journey, it's a long game, and we can scale and grow and we can achieve massive numbers and we can have the impact that we want. But it only is something that we can sustain if we're willing to really manage our mindset and take great care of ourselves. Because if you don't take care of yourself as an entrepreneur, your business will fail. You are the engine inside your business. You're the heart and soul of it. And so if you're not healthy, if you're not stable, if you don't have the support that you need around you, it's going to be really, really, really challenging to be successful in the long run. Too many entrepreneurs that I've run into over the years come to me and they're burnout and they're depressed and they're overwhelmed and they're out of money and they're losing, relationships in their life that matter to them. And that's because they weren't aware that they have to first take care of themselves. They first have to practice that high level of self-care if they're going to operate in such a tough and chaotic and challenging environment, and that is entrepreneurship. So 3 of the things that I do on a consistent basis to really help me take great care of myself, create stability for myself. And when I'm stable, that creates stability for my team. One of the first things that I would encourage you to explore is called EMDR therapy. There are licensed therapists all across the country that practice this. It's a very normalized, accepted practice of therapy. It's a little bit newer, but it's a process that allows you to quickly remove and process past trauma. And as entrepreneurs, we react out of past trauma sometimes, and that's what can damage our personal relationships. It's what can damage our team. It also can damage our own, self-talk if we don't understand where that trauma came from, where those triggers came from. So EMDR is one of the first things I would encourage you to check out. I will even find a resource and put that in the show notes for everybody or in the comments below, because there's a great site you can go and find EMDR therapists. But again, it's a way to very quickly, in a matter, typically from what I've experienced and what I've heard other friends share, in a matter of a handful of sessions, you can remove something, internally that's been troubling you or challenging you for years. You can remove it in a matter of just a handful of sessions for most people that I've seen, and in my experience. The second thing that is really helpful for me from a mindset perspective that really helps me level up and make the impact that I want to make is meditation. And when I first started meditating years ago, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago where I really made the commitment to meditate on a daily basis. When I sat down to do it, it was really hard because when we don't have a daily practice of calming our mind and focusing on our breath and learning to give our brain space, everything just runs and runs and runs. And it's probably that sensation for a lot of folks where you finally get to lay down and try to go to sleep at night, and then a million ideas come to mind. For me, that's an indication that I haven't been practicing mindfulness, that I haven't been practicing meditation, because I finally have a sense, time to lay down and relax, and my mind is going crazy. When we take that time on a consistent basis, maybe it's daily, maybe it's a few times a week, whatever works for you, we actually create space inside our mind so that we can process more important ideas, so that we can reduce the stress that we feel on a daily basis, and so we can create space to create the next big thing and really make the impact that we want. And so even though getting into the practice of meditation for me was challenging, and I know I've heard from other friends that it's been challenging in the beginning, it's something that I've stuck with. And ultimately, when I was going through one of the most stressful parts of my personal life and business life a few years ago, it was a thing that really anchored me and grounded me and helped me show up with calmness and peace and positivity for myself and for my team. And it was a huge factor in our business being able to scale, even in the midst of a lot of personal challenges that were going on. The third thing that I would encourage you to explore is either cold plunging or cold showers. There's a lot of information around this, but I will just share what my experience has been. My experience is when I started doing cold showers like 3 years ago, I think about 3 years ago. First, it was very uncomfortable. I could only, end my shower like with like 15 seconds of cold water. But ultimately, I built up to where I could just do a complete cold shower, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then eventually went ahead and made the investment and got a cold plunge tub. And the reason that I am sharing this here is because by choosing that positive adversity in the morning, every day that I do that, it actually sets me up for success for the day. Because if I can go through something that is physically uncomfortable by breathing, by working through it, then there's odds are there's nothing in the day that's going to be that uncomfortable after that. And it shows me my strength. It shows me who I am. And it also has given me personally amazing physical and mental benefits outside of that. But it's another way to train ourselves as entrepreneurs to be able to face the adversity, the challenges that we're going to have from a place of being calm and at peace and content. And all of these things, EMDR, getting our emotional health in a good situation, meditation, really giving ourselves daily kind of mind space and just mental health, cold plunging, which is both physical and mental for me. All of these things create a foundation for me that allows me to really push hard, allows me to show up in relationships in a positive way, allows me to practice that self-care that ultimately helps me grow and scale my business. Because as entrepreneurs, if we're not, if we don't have the business that we want today, then it's because we're not the person that can run it yet. And that's another saying from my friend Alex Charfin. Um, but I love how he says that, because I know that if something's not right in the business, it's because I have personal work to do. And so these are some of the tools that I use to really level up my mindset. And I would encourage you to explore what is going to be a self-care practice that you can institute and do consistently. Maybe it's going to the spa. Maybe it's going for a walk every day. Maybe it's meditation or cold plunging or EMDR, or maybe there's other therapy or things that will help you really process through some of the challenges that you've had in life. Whatever it is, invest in that self-care. Take the time to invest in yourself, because your business will grow incrementally just as much as when you grow personally. That has been my experience in business. So I hope this has been useful for you. If you have questions about any of it, or you have ideas or thoughts, definitely share those down below. I'd love to hear from you. I appreciate you taking time to tune in today, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode.